Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I am still quite a new member to this House, and I think over the last months we've been privileged to see really the best of the House. The House's support for the fight in Ukraine, the assisted dying bill really spring to mind, and even in this afternoon's debate, the speeches from the member for Dorking and Hawley and for Skipton and Ripon I thought were excellent contributions and show the House in an exceptional light. Unfortunately, I am concerned that I may yet this evening see a disappointing spectacle of members choosing to vote against measures to protect children solely so that they can make a political statement. And that is a significant concern to me. So to any of the members opposite who are thinking of supporting this amendment tonight, I'd just like to reconfirm that if you support this amendment, you are voting to block this bill. You are voting to decline to give a second reading to this bill, which blocks it. In blocking it, you are blocking the single child identifier. You are blocking the register of children not in school. They are steps that this government is taking to protect vulnerable children. Now, I'm aware we've heard from some people that they want to call for an inquiry in certain places. You can still do that. If this bill goes through, and I do hope it goes through second reading today, you can still call for that. There is nothing in this bill that stops that inquiry happening. There is nothing in this bill that prevents people continuing to campaign for it. By voting against this and supporting the amendment, which is voting against the bill, you are choosing to vote against measures to protect children to make a political point. That is not Parliament acting in the great traditions of this place. Madam Deputy Speaker, I could talk for over an hour on this, but I've got a minute left, so I'm going to just touch on school uniform. Around 3 years ago, alongside business, schools and the community, I set up Lichfield Back to School Bank, which is a uniform recycling scheme in Lichfield. Last year, we supported over 120 families, and around 4% of the school pupils across the city picked up uniform from us. We prevented 6 tonnes of carbon emissions through that alone. But that's not the real reason that I'm so proud of that. There's many parents that you speak to in there who will talk to you about the weight that gets lifted off their shoulders when they're able to access school uniform because the costs are so high and so much of a concern for people. In one case, I spoke to a parent who came over to me at the end, a couple of bags of things to take away to put on their kids and to help them out with the costs of that, who was reduced to tears because of the pressure that they've been feeling looking ahead at this cost and not knowing how they could meet it and being able to come and get that stuff at no cost. Release that pressure valve, and I really hope that that story stays with me for a very, very, very long time, because it's those stories that we need to focus on, and it's those stories that have a real-world impact on constituencies like mine and like everybody else in this chamber. Thank you.